Here at the men's shed with Red, and we're here to talk about a bit about welding. Now, we've got a trailer here, but we've also got a whole welding area here. So if I just swing around, you'll be able to see that we've got this whole area here for metalwork, and there's a machine shop there, lots of things to play with. But we're going to focus on welding today. And all right, Red, so this is take two for those who are watching. Red was very detailed in explaining it. But let's start again. Tell us a little bit about welding and what we need to do.
All right, so what we have at the moment is we've got an old trailer. We're going to stitch in new metal. It's just like panel beating. If you've got a rusted area in a car door or something like that, you'd cut it out and you put a new piece in. So that's what we're doing with the trailer. So what we need to do, of course, is clean up the area first, make sure we've got metal to metal, and then we're going to start stitching it in. Now, stitching it in means that we'll start at one spot and we'll do a little dab here to bring the two metals together. Then we'll do it down the other end, and we'll keep going backward and forward so that we're not creating too much heat. With too much heat, the metal will start buckling, and we don't want that. We want it nice and smooth. So we've got to watch out on how hot this whole thing gets. So we'll just do it slowly. First, we're just cleaning it up. We've got it reasonably clean at the moment. Do you want to keep cleaning, or do
if you want to give me a go and see if I know what I can work it out.
So I'll give you your glasses first.
All right. So need safety first.
Yeah.
Some gloves. Yep.
Gloves. And we'll be using an angle grinder with a it's like a sandpaper disc on it. All right. So that'll clean up most of the rust without taking big chunks of metal out.
Okay.
All right.
So this is an angle grinder.
That's the angle grinder.
Is there any safety techniques or things that I need to be aware of when I'm using an angle grinder like this?
You can see that on the arrow on the top here, it shows you which way that it runs.
Yep.
So we want to make sure that we're well balanced and that we keep the angle grinder away from us. So not that if you slip or fall, or if it grabs hold that it's going to run into you, you want it to make sure that it'll run away from you.
Right, okay.
Right? So by following that little arrow, when you're grinding, you'll find that it doesn't get, if it grabs, it'll pull into you.
So if I'm sitting like this, it's not a good position to be in.
Well, no, it can kick round and then come straight into you. So you want to be behind the machine all the time.
So ideally, coming in kind of like this way here and holding it that way, is that right?
That's it.
But if I do it this way, I'm working here, that's going to go straight into me, isn't it?
It can, so that's why you want to keep it at an angle, so therefore if it does kick, it's not going to go back towards you.
Right, so if I'm standing here like that, then if it kicks, it's going to spin around that way, is that right?
Well,
or that way?
No, it's going to go this way.
Yeah.
That's why you come this side.
So I want to come this side, so I want to come back around
away from your camera.
Away from the camera, and we'll come around that way. So we'll move the camera around, and then we go that way.
So now it'll kick out.
So just from the camera perspective, you can see if it'll kick out that way.
No.
No?
It'll kick out there.
Ah, I see. Yes, sorry.
Away from you.
Yeah, so the sparks will kick out that way.
Yes.
Is that what we're talking about?
And the way the sparks go, if it's going to kick, that's the way it's going to go.
Right, okay,
Normally.
Yeah, so because it's spinning that way,
Yeah.
So from the camera perspective, if it's spinning that way, the sparks are going to shoot out there.
Yeah.
So I want to be standing so the sparks are shooting away from me.
That's right. So if you're going this way, so therefore if you've got a leg up here to keep yourself balanced and you're doing it and it kicks, it's going to kick out there.
Yep.
So that's away from me.
Yep. So I can do it this way.
Yep.
Is that right? And as long as I stand wide enough so the sparks are going between my leg and not...
Yeah. Well, they're not going to go so much between your legs because the guard here catches them and throws them forward.
Ah, okay, yep. Okay. And so to turn this on, I push that down and forward and down?
Yep, that's the safety mechanism on this particular type. Yeah, some have a switch at the back. This one is that you push it forward and then down to hold it in this position. Or you can just keep your finger on the button all the time.
Okay.
So that's up to you. But whenever you finish doing it, always turn it off.
Yeah.
Don't leave it running.
Don't leave it in.
No, not even when you're talking, because you're not concentrating on the machine. And if it's running and you're talking or doing something, and then you forget this is going, which is easy to do, and you might say, scratch your head.
That's not going to be very good.
It's not going to be very good, is it?
No.
So yeah, just turn it off.
Yep. So
always.
turn it on and
make sure you have no distractions like phones or things like that that you're going to be bothered about, so you can concentrate on what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll give this a go. Let's see if I can do it. So push forward and down.
Forward and down.
Down. All right.
That's it. Okay, that gives us a clean enough spot for the moment to weld to. And now we're going to try that.
All right, we'll try the welding.
So you can keep the gloves on for a moment. I'll just move this out the way.
Yep.
We'll turn our welder on.
All right, we'll just come around and so we've got the welder. For those of you who can't see, we'll come down here and have a look. We've got the welder down here.
All right, this is a MIG, TIG and arc welder, and we're using the gas as well.
Yep.
What the gas does is it makes it a much easier flow.
Okay.
All right, so instead of when you're just doing arc without gas, it tends to stick to it. All right, so you need something over the rod to sort of make that smoother. But the gas does that in this plate, in this. I'm trying to think of the word for it. Takes the place of having a rod with
the flux on it.
With a flux on it. That's the word I was looking for. I couldn't think of it.
You were channeling it to me.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh, okay. Okay, I'll have to put that on my resume.
Exactly.
I can channel.
Exactly.
All right. So that's what that's doing. So we make sure, first of all, we've got a good earth, which we have. I put it onto the trailer.
Yep, so that's the earth here, is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So what that does is when we use the welder on it, right, it's a circuit that goes around. So that completes the circuit.
Right.
So if we go to weld on it, right, without that, it goes and nothing happens.
Yeah.
Right. So with that on it, it goes around the trailer or any metal that you're doing, and then of course when you touch it, that's where you get the sparks.
Okay.
Right, and that's what's doing the welding.
So basically, you create an electrical circuit.
Closed circuit.
A closed circuit with a spark.
That's it.
That creates that heat, melts the metal, joins it together.
Welds it together. That's it.
He can be taught. Look at this.
It's not hard. Okay, there's just one thing. Where is it? Oh, there it is.
We need to.
Okay,
so that's the other component.
This is the other part.
All right, so maybe we'll move the camera over here.
Okay.
So we can see what's going on. How's that? And then, all right. So this is the.
Okay. Got a little bit damp with all the rain we had the other week because this is partially open. We're at the stage at the moment we want to build a better cover here, but we haven't got the funds yet. So
we'll get there.
We're still struggling with those things. Okay, so here's our welder. Now, what we're going to do is, as I said before, we're just going to touch it in areas. Now, when I say touch it, it's 1 or 2 seconds, if that, when you do it. Now, I'm not going to do it just at the moment, but I would, there's the two metals there, all right? So you can see the edge of this metal. So what we want to do is more or less touch it on here. Now, this is the good metal, this is the old metal. So we start on here, just on the edge here, just for 1, and then move it over to here, 2.
Okay, so you're starting on the clean area, so that gives it a nice electrical connection.
It's not so much as clean, it's thicker.
Okay,
right? If we leave too long, we'll burn a hole through it.
Right.
So we start on the thicker piece and then move it just slightly over onto the thinner piece to build it up. So the heat is created here, it's like a pool. It's melting it, and then we move it over and it melts it onto there. So it melts the pool into that one.
Right.
So that's what's joining it together.
Okay.
All right, and it's a quick just 1, 2 as you move it slowly over, and that's about all you need.
Okay.
All right. So first of all, you'll need to take those ones off.
Take those ones off.
Put your gloves on.
Put my gloves back on. Move them out of the way in case.
Now we wear the welder's helmet, and the reason for that is because you don't want to look into this. It's that bright that do this for a few times and you'll see spots and things, and
You'll get blind.
it'll damage your eyes and
Yep.
end up you could go blind. Yeah.
So put one of these on, do it
That's
up,
it.
so it fits. Look at that.
That's it.
All right, I feel like
And
Terminator.
You can hold that.
Can hold that.
I'll take my hat off and put this one on as well. Now, if you pull it down, you'll be able to see
Can see?
through it
I can see.
so you get into your correct spot. Again, get yourself balanced.
Yep.
Right.
So I come across this way.
Yep. Pick a spot.
Yep.
Where there's no weld.
So something like that.
Yeah. So see here, somewhere around here.
Yep.
It's fine. And
so how is it just pulling the trigger?
Just pull the trigger. Put the metal piece on there. Keep it about that far away.
Yep.
We can cut that little bit off. It's a bit long.
So the aim is to keep it just that little bit, a couple of mils away from the metal, is that right?
Yeah, we don't want to put this right on top because then we start welding this to it.
But this touches the metal?
That touches the metal, yeah.
So I put that on there.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the surround around here.
Yeah,
we don't want to touch on there while we've got the trigger
But this
pulled.
actually does touch the metal?
That does, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So pull your visor down.
Visor down.
Pop the...
And do I touch it first and then pull the trigger, or?
Yeah, put it on where you want to.
Yep,
you can practice. You can practice doing it right without pulling the trigger. So count to yourself, sort of 1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Yeah, smaller movement. So get it right at the edge here, and then sort of 1, 2.
1, 2.
Yeah.
Bit slower.
You keep going over here, right next to it. That
1, 2, just there.
Yeah, that's
1, 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, when you think you're confident at that,
yep.
then try and do exactly the same thing and pull the trigger at the same time.
Okay. Let's see if I can do
Now,
this.
when you do it, when you're going to pull the trigger, say welding.
Welding?
Yeah. Now, the reason for that is I know you're going to weld. I'll make sure I've got my eyes covered. Yep. Anybody else that's going to come through that door knows you're welding, and they'll turn around and go out.
Yep.
So if you say just a normal voice, you don't have to yell it.
Yep.
But... or maybe in this place you might.
A little bit louder, but just so that people know that you're welding.
Deaf people around, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's give that a go. All right, so here it's 1, 2.
Yeah.
All right, welding. How'd I go? I've got something there. I went too far again, by the looks of it.
Yeah, but the majority, so you got the majority there, so you did your 1, 2, was a bit more here than there.
Yep.
But that's okay as long as we can. See, that's stuck.
Yep.
So you welded a piece of metal together.
I welded a piece of metal together. Look. Wow.
So now we're going to move down, say about here somewhere.
Yep.
Now with this, it's not as you don't have to stand like you did with the angle grinder.
Yep.
It's different. As long as you're balanced and comfortable, you could even I can get you a chair like even, and you can sit if you wanted to. But
yep.
Yeah, you can just bend over there as long as you're balanced.
Okay.
That's the main thing. You're not going to fall onto it.
Okay, so again,
so when you're ready,
welding. I think that was a little bit over the shop there.
Yeah, okay. So now you've got a little bit of weld on there.
Yeah.
So you can put it on that one and move back into here if you wish.
Right, cool. How do I extend this a little bit? Is that... Or is that too short? Or is that just...
That's fine.
That's fine,
It'll come out. As long as it's...
I can't blame the tools, is that what you're saying?
That's right. As long as it's about that sort of far.
All right.
That's fine.
Okay, let's try that again. All right, so touching. Welding. How'd I go that time? I burnt a hole in it. I burnt a hole in it. It was a little bit too long, so you've got to move a bit quicker.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah, you did, but that's all right. You see how you missed it altogether?
Yeah.
All right. Now we're having this problem with our eyesight, and we're old guys.
I might need my wisies on.
Yes, because when it goes dark,
yep.
You think you're where you are, but you're not. That's why I get you to practice.
Yep.
So you follow the same sort of thing. So we start on the fresh, and then we move on to there. So we can join that up, no problems. All right.
All right.
Try a spot down here somewhere. Yep. Pick a spot up here.
So go here.
We get away from the heat again.
Yep.
Right. So put it on. Practice your move.
So one,
You're
two.
holding it wrong for starters. The thing is, you
Oh.
can't see what you're doing, right?
Yep.
Now, if you hold the gun like that, stand here like that.
This is George, the expert here. He's
Right.
coming in.
You can see where your tip is.
Yep.
You can see where your wire is. You can see your gap. If you had it like that, you're blocking out all your view, right?
Ah, yep.
So if you stand there,
Do it that way.
You could have told me
like
that.
that, all right?
Yeah, I know.
That way you can see where you're going.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's try that.
You can see
that-
you can see your molten pool.
So it's not as there's a lot of technique to this, but
There's
yeah.
different ways,
Yeah.
easy ways, hard ways.
Yep.
But you've got to see what you're doing before you get anywhere.
okay.
Now,
Let's try.
I forgot to mention that to you.
Yeah.
Whereas you just do it.
Yeah. Well,
know.
because you're used to doing it for
Well,
how
that's
long?
it.
Yeah.
You know. So.
Yeah. All right,
Well,
let me-
I'm not a welder.
Okay.
I've only picked it up as
Yeah,
a hobby.
But stand back at right angles to it so you can see where your flame is,
Yep.
and
Cool.
just watch it that way. Okay.
All right. Let's try that. Okay. Welding.
See a bit better then?
I could see a lot better then. That was a really
See what you were doing?
yeah.
Right.
And
You're
you did well.
sacked, and you.
And
think
with
that's
this sort
good.
of stuff, it's only then you weld it to rubbish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to stop and start. You don't sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's a thicker piece, it was new material, it welds straight through.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is only thin stuff.
That's why we're
Tissue.
stitching it.
That's why you just sort of stop and start all the time.
Okay.
Right?
Well, I think I've got to do one more because I've got one reasonably good one reasonably good one, and one not so good one. So that if I do one more and get it right,
You get
that'll
it right.
that'll give me a 75% score.
You'll get it right. This
Exactly.
way,
All right.
Right.
Get
So
away.
move up this side.
Get up here where you can see the
Yep.
gap. Don't pick a big gap, or even up here, like up here. You know, where you can see that little gap. And
Yep. All
Yeah.
right.
just
Let me,
stand in the right position.
okay.
If you haven't got too steady a hand, rest your other hand on the
On the
like
trial.
this.
Yep.
Like that. That's it, like that. All right.
Okay. Gotcha.
You
That's,
got the shapes a bit.
yep. All right. Welding.
Right.
How'd I do that time?
There you go. You welded it together.
Weld. Oh, not quite.
Oh, it's
Let me
not
just fix
bad.
it. I'm gonna. Not bad. All right. I'll give it
No,
one more.
That's good. Yeah, but
Keep
just
going.
you got to watch where your gap is. You got to get it in your gap, not next to the gap.
Yep. Let's
Right.
try one more time. All right.
Right.
Welding. And I've gone too hot and built a hole in it.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's
So,
why you only
so, I, so I got a 50% score. I went for a 75 and I went the other way. All right, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to get this right.
You took that little bit more in one place.
Too long. As you said, 1, 2.
You got to
Yeah.
go faster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
thin stuff.
Let's do the 1, 2 thing again. All right.
All
Ready? Welding.
right. Right.
Not enough this time.
Yeah.
It's gone the other way.
Yeah.
I'm going to get this right.
You get it right.
Welding.
So you got that one.
That one's all right.
There we go.
That one all right. Yeah. Yep. That one's all right.
Yeah,
All
that's
right. So
that's
there's a little bit of technique to this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bit of
That's
practice
why I
is
like-
needed.
Like if you rest your hand,
Yep.
you're not shaking so much. You know, that way you can sort of.
You
Right.
can learn to weld very quickly,
Yep.
but it's the experience and practice that makes you a good welder.
Yep.
But to know the basics, the safety, that can be done in half an hour,
Yep.
sort of thing. And it's, from then on, it's just all practice.
Yep.
And the more you practice, the better you get at it.
And so that's the kind of thing that we can do. People could come here at the men's
Yep,
shed
exactly.
and learn to do that. I've set, for the people watching, I've set the standard. There's the minimum standard because I'm not so skilled. You can come here and see if you can do better than that. That's the challenge that's been put down.
You're throwing the gloves
I'm
down,
throw-
are you?
I am. I'm throwing it out. So
Throwing out the gauntlet, mate.
I have.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm here with Red and George. This is the metal shed here at the men's shed, where you
At
can
the
come in
moment.
at the moment, which
Yeah.
we're working to develop, and something you can come down and enjoy and learn things, a bit about metalwork, learn how to weld, that kind of thing. Is that right?
Yep, we're
That's
here
it.
to help you. And if you can't weld at all, it doesn't matter. We're here to teach you if you're interested.
And how do people get find out more about the men's shed?
Well, we're on the website. All you do is
We're on
just look up
Facebook.
on Facebook and
Yep.
that. Look up Newborough Yallourn Men's Shed. You'll find us on there. We're open on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so you're welcome to come down anytime.
Yep.
That's it.
All right, we'll put those details in with the video link. And Red, thank you very much for your tuition. I greatly
Welcome.
appreciate it. Thank you for your expertise and advice.
All right.
And
Again,
I'm going to
I'd
have
like
to...
thank you for taking your time and coming out and assisting us in all this, which has been a great help to us, and it's a great pleasure having you here.
Fantastic. No, pleasure being here, George. Pleasure.
All right. Thank you.